Hell yeah.
Hell
Right?
yeah. Opening that door.
The good old-fashioned Regency dab.
Correct. Yes. That is, in fact, how you end every single ball.
It's,
Dab
It's a
out.
requirement.
the collective dab, right?
Yeah.
It's the dab of the people.
Dab of the people.
Jesus Christ.
You need to stop saying things that are so incredibly, like,
Yeah, I should
quotable
stop
tonight.
saying things. You're 100% correct.
Say more. Say all. Keep talking.
I'll let you
Don't
say
stop.
things right now.
I guess for once, and I feel like that is in part because we don't have Raph here. I feel like this would be very different if we did have them here. We're actually going to go right into starting things off instead of a 15-minute discussion and ramble and rant and the usual chaos.
I mean, I can ramble and rant if that's what you want. If that's what you're like missing from this.
I am kind of missing it. Is there anything you would like to rant and ramble about, Kit?
Let's see. What's on the mind? We've got a hot take. I've got a hot take for you, if I may.
Always.
Code Lyoko is the epitome of magical girl anime. I'll take this to my grave.
I haven't seen that one, but I haven't seen a lot of anime. So it's not surprising. But it sounds familiar.
I don't remember when it came out because I came to a lot of things late, but that was what I watched as a kid. And it is not a magical girl anime, but it is a group of friends in a boarding school fighting evil with magical transformations, etc., etc., etc. So
wait, so it's not a magical girl, but it's peak magical girl.
But it has all of the key points of a magical girl anime. All of the things that, if you were to define a magical girl anime as it needs these facets, Code Lyoko has all of those. It is just not billed as a magical girl anime. Anyway,
Incredible. That is exactly what I was missing, Kit.
I was expecting more pushback, but
you know that picture of a pipe that says "This is not a pipe"? That, but with like a magical girl, and this is not a magical girl.
This is not a magical girl anime.
Incredible. Okay, I feel like it's a little more normal tonight now. I feel like the vibes are back on track now that we have had our pre-stream
ramble.
Rant.
Yes.
Had a hot take.
Yeah, we need that. I'm just, it isn't an LFTA stream without that.
Yeah, it's true. Some rambling hot take.
And so with that, hi, we are live from the apocalypse. We are a not-for-profit TTRPG studio that raises money for aid organizations and good causes, and we are currently fundraising for Rainbow Railroad. Because we do all of this to support the different organizations we platform, we ask that instead of subscribing or giving us bits or any of that stuff with made-up currency that's going to go to Father Bezos, we ask that you just send it directly to who we are currently fundraising for. And you can do that at any point by looking at the subscribe button or where that would be, because instead of that, you will see the donate button. That will allow you to donate directly to the Canadian branch of Rainbow Railroad. They are a wonderful organization that help queer people, and especially in these very frightening times, trans people get from unsafe environments to safer ones, whether that is changing homes, changing states, or even countries. We are getting very close to our goal of raising $1,000 for them after having raised $1,000 for the US branch of Rainbow Railroad. We are definitely hoping to round this out by the end of the year. And since we have something special happening in December, it would be really cool if before that kicks off, we're able to announce a new charity, depending on how that goes. So if you're able, throw whatever you would have given us, $5, $10, there's no expectation of amount, to Rainbow Railroad. And if you are on mobile instead of on a browser, you can type donate, ! Donate, in the chat at any point, and it'll bring the link up. You can, of course, subscribe. We cannot stop you. We have tried. We did hide the subscribe button. We're trying to save you from yourselves. Just understand that if you decide to subscribe to us, maybe you have an Amazon Prime sub to throw our way. Brennan Lee Mulligan will kill one dog for every month that you have been subscribed. November has been a bad month for this. So don't contribute. Doesn't need to happen. You can just give money to Rainbow Railroad. At that point, when you donate, the McElroy brothers will yell.
Yeah, just to fucking grip it and rip it,
exactly
baby.
like that.
Slop
at me.
that down, dude. Shit, yeah, dude. Crack
Thank you,
one
Cass.
for the big boy.
I will not scream into the mic. I may scream into the mic. Who knows? The cast may scream into the mic, or there may be dead silence. No idea. It's always chaos. And you can choose to do that at a time when I am delivering a well thought out monologue, and then you can throw me completely off, and I will have no idea what I was saying or doing, because this is my third time GMing in the span of like 4 days, because I make good decisions. And so, I think that is all of the housekeeping stuff I have, which means it is time for my lovely cast to introduce themselves, where you can find them on the internet, who they are playing, and their character's current playbook. Starting with you, Kit.
As I was just shoring up my character sheet, some whack things have happened. Don't worry about it. Hi, I'm Kit. You can find me most places on the internet at KitRoll. Tonight I will be, as most of the times I am, the lovely Miss Elise Clarendon, who is, less and less like a vampire every day, it seems. But allegedly that's what we're going with, if we had to pick one.
No longer Oops All Mortals.
JD, I'm gonna have to ask you to look at my character sheet. I don't think I can say that anymore.
I love that for you. I love that for you so much.
I tried really hard. It's juice, I promise.
Kid, I also have no idea what you might be saying in terms of like how you're usually Elise. I mean, you've always been Elise.
I've always been Elise.
You've always been Elise. You will always be Elise.
We are all Elise.
We are all Elise, and we learned that on Monday night.
And I felt Elise in that Chili's.
Sorry to have to throw you on the air next step right after that.
It's all good. Hi, I'm Steph. You can find me at S Brown Writes on Blue Sky and the Dumpster Fire of Twitter, also under Lavenza at Discord for Live Theme Apocalypse. Tonight I will be playing Duchess Rhiannon Carewood of Astalot. She is still darkest self. We're gonna try to do a rescue mission to hell. We're having some boyfriend issues. It's a time. Don't worry.
Things are so good. They're so good.
They're so good.
We're having a normal one, and everything, I just promise, everything is fine.
They would like to change the definition of normal.
We'll see if that happens. And last but certainly not least, our werewolf.
Hello. All right, JD took care of that part of my introduction. Thank you. I'm Alex. I'm Mightiest Finn on Twitter. I'm Mighty Finn on Blue Sky. I will be your Captain Fitzgerald de Villiers tonight.
Who is just a normal human. I don't know what I was saying when I said werewolf.
Listen, I didn't want to say you spoke out of turn, but
I did, though. You're right.
Listen, you can't be just making accusations like that.
I really can't. No.
Slander.
So, as Cass says, Fitzy is best boy.
Thank you.
Well, okay. I could have gotten away with it. I'm not going to get away with it. Hi, I am JD. I am the storyteller for this game, and I will be playing everyone else. So we are at a really interesting time in this moment in a season of Secrets and Shadows, a second season of Secrets and Shadows, if you will. Because we are rapidly approaching endgame at an alarmingly fast pace, and a lot has happened to all of the characters and more. Loved ones, family, friends, in a span of what is a couple of hours. Which is a shame, because that does mean some lovely letters that have been sent are going to be on hold for just a little bit longer. Because in these past few hours, a number of things have happened. Elise, you found out that your brother Jonathan was at the palace, and he informed you that your younger sister Clara had been taken. And with the help of your new friends, you were able to see Clara, see where she was being kept in hell, and make some contact with her in that time. But even before that happened, you discovered that there was a portal to hell in Rhiannon's backyard, and that her deceased father was back and had made a deal and was now haunting the home. So right now the Carewood estate is essentially empty. You all have gone to the palace for the opportunity to, first of all, speak with Jonathan and get some help, but meanwhile, other things have been happening in the background. Reality got a little weird in some parts of London, and some members of this fine city found themselves in an unexpected location for a period of time. Abigail came to the palace with some business of her own and spoke with the new seneschal, Damien Deloso, Carmen Deloso's brother. And in doing so, started to hatch a plan to help, question mark, Carmen from the predicament that they have found themselves in. And all of that is to say that things are moving quickly. The veil between different realms is getting thinner and more disrupted, and you all have not necessarily experienced the aftershocks, but the aftershocks have been felt in ways that are not yet known. But that is not where we start. And once again, where we start is not where we usually start. Because we don't have much time. Things are moving very, very fast. And we see the seneschal's quarter at the palace, where Damien Deloso is pacing back and forth and back and forth and looking with some level of trepidation towards the door. When the knock comes, he jumps, even though it's clear he was expecting it. And he hurries over and opens it. And the former seneschal, Julius Shaw, steps inside with a box in his hand. Damien asks, "Is that it?" Julius nods, but doesn't hand over the box. They study Damien for a moment. and in turn ask him, Damien, are you sure you want to do this? And Damien swallows hard and nods, but it's not a convincing nod. I don't have a choice, do I? Julius makes sure the door is shut behind him. Takes a seat, still holding tightly onto the box, even though Damien's made no move to take it from him. Damien, you always have a choice. That is precisely what we talked about when you agreed to take on this role. Damien resumes pacing and says, I don't, Julius. I don't have a choice. Julius, it's my brother. I have to do something. Do you have what I asked for? And Julius's jaw tightens, but he hands over the box. And Damien opens it. He pulls out a silver collar marked with a variety of sigils. And for a moment, just a moment, Julius flinches and leans back. And Damien notices and quickly puts it back in the box and says, Thank you. I know this wasn't easy for you to do. I probably don't understand what it cost you. Julius just says, Don't worry about it. I owe you a favor anyways. Consider that debt repaid. And he goes for the door. So right before his hand comes to rest on the doorknob, Damien speaks up. I do have one more thing to ask of you. When you go to talk to them, will you ask Carmen to come see me? And Julius stops with his hand on the doorknob and doesn't look back. You should be the one to do that, Damien. And Damien simply says, If I have to face Carmen, I don't think I can do this. Julius says, Then I think that's something for you to consider, Damien, and perhaps question if you truly want to go through with this. But yes, I will ask Carmen to come to your quarters. And in the meantime, I would encourage you to reflect on your choices. Because you still have time to change your mind. And then he steps through the door and leaves, leaving Damien standing there, holding the box, which now that Julius is gone, he once again opens. He doesn't take out the collar. He just looks down at it. And steeling himself, murmurs, I've already made my choice. But we don't need to worry about any of that for a couple more days at least. We get to return to the two of you who, along with your companion, Carmen Deloso, are in studio, if I am remembering correctly. I
believe we were just leaving the studio
to get the things we need.
Yeah, I think y'all were headed with Julius to go get supplies around the castle. And if you have problems, tell them I sent you and they can come fight me about it. And I think I was going down to probably the kitchen to get Fitz.
That's where you sent him.
Yeah, well, that's where I suggested would be a place that he might, find calming at this point. But it'll probably be, check there first and then ask around.
And I think with that, we will focus in on Elise and their mission to find Fitz. And so, Fitz, you had been noticing the wolf inside of you reacting to the news about Clara being taken. Where would you have gone?
If the suggestion was the kitchen, I think that is fair. It's a calming point. Fitz does know some of the people there. It would be a grounding place. So, yes, let's say that.
And what is Fitz doing in the kitchen when Elise finds him there?
I believe that he has locked himself in the larder.
In a concerning way?
In a protective way. In a way to protect the people in the kitchen from just in case. So there is I assume there is a gaggle of kitchen staff, chefs, sort of against the wall, across or away from the door to which he has passed through, and demanded, ordered, like, close this door and lock it, and don't let me out.
I think some have tentatively tried to resume their duties, but it is with a significant air of trepidation.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because there is probably stuff falling from the shelves inside. There's probably low murmuring, we'll say, for lack of better terms. It's not a quiet or still scene in terms of what you hear from behind the door.
And if the palace staff had less contact with how volatile things can become with the supernatural community, likely the kitchen would be empty. But this is not the first time something like this has happened. And so the newer staff members are definitely the ones like against the wall keeping their distance, but the ones who have been there for decades, if not longer, are trying to get back to cooking, though every so often with a particularly loud noise, and when that happens, they do jump. And there is a definite look of relief when Elise walks in.
Yeah, I think it takes all of about 2 seconds for Elise to piece together what's gone on down here. Um, I don't know if the locking in a cupboard is a thing that has happened before in her presence, but I think
Almost
she
certainly not.
may have heard stories or something, or at the very least, who else is going to be in there? There's like probably half a second of like, uh, uh, captain's jacket, right? Dressed as captain's in the
Everybody just points.
right key.
There's a very loud thud on the door.
And the head chef hands you the key and then gets everyone else out of the kitchen, just abandoning what they're working on.
Yeah, I think there's like takes the key and it's very like has to use her big kid voice, but like it's the head chef. They know each other probably a decent amount, so it's like, okay, y'all might want to go prep the dining room. I'll this mess is mine. I've got it. But yeah, just sort of like waiting for everyone to clear out, less for their safety and more for Fitz's like peace of mind and privacy, I guess. Sort of wait for everyone to be until I can't hear them, which is saying something. Um,
And it does not take long. Like they're already walking as you're suggesting this. Like they've made their decision that they are stepping away from the situation. Yeah. So it does not take much for them to remove themselves to a suitably far distance.
Excellent. Good on them. Yeah, there's a knock. Darling, are you in there?
I don't know that you get a yes, but you get a sort of affirmative noise.
I'm coming in. I don't think it's a question at this point. Yeah. Elise will unlock it, crack it, make sure that like, is he decent? Does he need medical attention? What's the situation? Do I smell blood? Sort of get a little read on the room before actually stepping in.
Yes, no, no.
Okay. All right. That's all we could ask for at this point.
I will say he is covered in flour. There is a string of sausages around his collar. There are apples and just like he has torn this place apart. Like there was a barrel of flour that hit the door. That was the boom. The shelves have just been ripped down, and he's just sort of sitting at the back wall, like knees up, arms folded over them, head down, just quivering.
I think there is like half a laugh, like opens the door and there's like a poof of flour being like disturbed. And it's like, okay, that's adorable. Oh no. Okay. All right. It is quite a shame that I am in half mourning because normally this wouldn't be an issue, but she's, kneeling in the flour. Fuck my skirts. It doesn't matter at this point.
I mean, he's in all black too. Well, not anymore.
Yeah, quite the pair we make. And I think she does say that, just like kneeling in front of him, like offering like a hand to be reassuring. Like,
what Hugh say, quite the pair we make, he looks up and says, "That would be nice if there weren't 3 of us."
Yes, well, I don't mind him if he behaves.
That's the thing, he's not behaving.
Just 2 hands on the face. How can I help, darling?
Are you okay? I'm sorry. Are you okay? Is your sister okay?
She will be. I will be.
Good.
You know, we know who has her, and we have a way in.
I think his eyes focus on that. He has a new problem, something that maybe we can fix. Who has her?
I think we all already knew. But we've confirmed our suspicions. 2 birds, 1 stone, yes? Well, 3,
3.
I suppose.
To start. All right. I'm sorry. He's been
I have
very
nothing
loud.
to
Been very
apologize for.
loud. We shouldn't be in a larder.
Is there a better place? I mean, if you wanted to throw flour around, this is, I believe, the place to do it.
True, but someone has to clean it up. And he will pop a sausage link off of the chain and take a bite.
I think we can see to that at a later date, or at the very least, make up for whatever poor sap has to dust this. Would you dust? I've never gotten
I
this
think
much
this is
flour
sweep.
everywhere. So, is it a sweep at this point?
I think it's a sweep.
Is it a sweep when it's the ceiling?
That's
These are
a
the
fine
finer points
question.
of grammar that they don't teach you in the duchy.
No, but I mean, you can sweep a chimney, so I can assume you sweep a ceiling.
I suppose you could.
Deep breath. Humor. Good.
It will be all right. It is simply flour. I imagine the palace has plenty.
I would think so. All right.
Better the
Let's go
barrel
find
than none.
Rhiannon.
Yes. I believe they were off to look for supplies. I'm not entirely sure what exactly they're off to get, but I may have given them permission to grab whatever. Her craft is quite impressive, if a bit terrifying.
Magic always is, but
I'm learning.
from what I know of her, they make it less terrifying.
The terrifying is why it's impressive.
Awe-inspiring, perhaps.
Yes. Yes. Hey, all of these fancy words. We'll get there eventually.
This is the world we live in. World of fancy words. You know that.
Sorry, I haven't exactly picked up a grammar book since being here.
Quite all right. And I think I almost said Finn. I think Fitz is gonna hoist himself up, just like limber up, and give Elise a hug if that's okay. More flour.
Oh yeah, covered in flour
everywhere.
Absolutely.
And then we'll literally do the dog shake off, like
just like a fine dusting of flour now on Elise.
Right. And then he'll maybe pat down an arm, be like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry," and then hold out an elbow so that we can leave this godforsaken pantry.
Yeah, just takes the elbow. Really did a number on it. This is, like, again, quite impressive.
I did not know how much flour was in a barrel.
You would think less.
I did think less. I did not think that this would happen.
It expands with the air, it turns out. You get it airborne, and it's just all over.
I don't know the physics of flour or baking. That was always Dorian's department. Dorian, anyway.
You can teach me your fancy words, and I will teach you to bake bread. How about that?
Deal.
let's go make sure the other happy couple hasn't, become unhappy.
And I think that is a great place to jump over to Rhiannon and Carmen and Julius. And Julius escorts you to a part of the palace. And I mean, there are many that would fall into this category, but a part of the palace that you have not seen before. It is simply, well, maybe not simply storerooms, but it might as well be. There are powerful enchantments, not just anyone could walk in here, because there are magical supplies and other items that could potentially be misused in the wrong hands or used in a way that would not be optimal by those who did not know what they are doing. But you are given free rein to grab any supplies that you need. And I think it's more background noise as you hear Carmen and Julius talking. And Julius saying to Carmen, I know this is the poorest of timing that it could be, but your brother Damien has asked you to see him, and I do not know the specifics, but he may need you for a while. If it were not urgent, he would not make this request at this time.
Rhiannon just kind of turns, just like, sorry, Lord Shaw, as it now is. Does Seneschal Deloso not understand the urgency of what we are doing?
He does, Duchess Carewood, which is why he would not be asking to see his brother at this very moment, were it not an urgent matter.
More urgent than a young lady being abducted to hell by escaped prisoners of the crown?
I am no longer the seneschal, Duchess Carewood. I can only speculate as to what Seneschal Deloso would consider important, but I trust his judgment.
Can't it wait until after we get this dealt with? Carmen, can't it wait?
I suppose that is for Carmen and the seneschal to decide. But I would not be doing what I had promised Seneschal Deloso I would if I did not let him know that there was something urgent with his brother.
Rain just kind of looks at Carmen, just kind of waiting to see what choice he's going to make.
And Carmen is, for very understandable reasons, hesitating. Because you're right, Rhiannon, this is very important, but you're also recognizing that Julius is talking about Carmen's brother needing them. And Julius takes that moment to push on exactly that and says, please, Carmen, you know your brother, and you know that if it were not dire, he would not be asking this of you at this time. And Carmen nods and says, of course. But does look to you, Rhiannon.
Fine, if your brother needs you, your brother needs you. I understand.
I imagine that Carmen apologizes, Rhiannon, for leaving you at this time, that they say, so sorry, Rhiannon. You know I wouldn't do this if it weren't, but it's Damien.
Not sure what you'd do in stressful situations anymore, Carmen. But go to your brother, and hopefully I can hear what it was all about that was so dire. And if everything goes well, maybe that will restore some of your faith in me.
And Julius looks like he would like to be anywhere that is not here, and looks incredibly relieved when Carmen takes his absence after those words ran in. Though they do look back at you with a sad, heartbroken look before they turn and walk out of the room, leaving you and Julius standing in awkward silence for a few moments, I would imagine. Julius is looking anywhere but at you.
Make this man retire from retiring. I should not have said that. They should not have said that. I apologize. We don't have time. I will.
I don't think I'm the person you need to apologize to, Duchess Carewood, with all due respect.
I know. I suppose I will fix that error I've made when we get back. More reason not to take any longer than necessary.
Do you have what is needed?
I do, yes. Unsurprisingly, the storeroom is very well stocked. Thank you.
Well, let us see about rejoining with the others then, and it would seem that it will be a trip with the four of us.
Your assistance is appreciated.
Julius looks at you, Rhiannon, and asks you, Duchess Carewood, what do you imagine that hell is like?
Oh, no, I've read a few interpretations. Dante's little imaginings, more religious works. I always felt depends on the person. People are rather very good at making their own hells. Am I far from the mark?
On the contrary, I would say that you have hit the center of the bullseye rather perfectly.
Just a moment of pride of like, of course I did. I know what I'm talking about. So, when we go down there, will it reflect each of our own hells or not because we are not residents?
You are remarkably astute. Yes, it will. And that is why I asked, because it would be beneficial for all of us to know what to expect.
I've had my own experiences with my own personal hell, so I'm sure I will not be surprised, merely disappointed.
Well, it would seem that we should find your two companions.
Yes. Yes, we should get a move on. Thank you again.
And I imagine that with Elise knowing the palace and both their and Fitz's heightened senses in their own respective ways, it does not take long for the two of you to be reunited with Julius and Rhiannon, of course, now sans Carmen.
Sorry, Carmen will not be joining us. Apparently, an urgent matter has come up that his brother needs him for. But Julius will be joining us.
Ah, Julius, you old hound.
That
Just
is
said a
the
little more
expression
flour.
that Julius
Yep.
gives you. Julius just gives you this long suffering, pained look.
Hmm? I hear that we have business in hell.
It would seem so, and this would be an excellent time for me to ask yourself and Miss Clarendon, what do both of you imagine hell is like?
Isn't it all that fire and brimstone and torture and stuff?
I mean, it can be if that is what you expect it to be.
I guess I don't know what else it would be.
I think Fitz takes a deep breath, looks around, just shrugs, says, hell is other people. Family.
Not wrong.
Pat pat.
Well, that hopefully will not mean a family reunion, though. If it does, I suppose we will not be caught off guard.
Oh, well, I doubt my
Well,
father will show up.
mine might. And my sister almost certainly.
Hmm.
And we'll take care of them.
Hopefully, we should at least have an element of surprise on our hands. I doubt they expect us to just walk into wherever they are.
I found you can get away with a lot. Just walking in. People think.
Will it be different
plans.
if we're not dead?
In some respects, yes, and in others, no. It will be dangerous, and it will not be easy to enter or leave, but you will not be bound there in the same way that those who have been condemned are bound there. Unless you do something very foolish, and I am hoping that none of you does anything very foolish.
We
Define
three?
foolish?
Impossible.
We won't be stuck there. I will get us in and I will get us out. One way or
I
another.
fear I'm about to have a lot of dumb questions.
There are no dumb questions.
Can we die in hell? Can they die if they're already dead? Can we kill them in hell?
Those are not silly questions to ask, Elise.
They feel silly.
They are very reasonable. As for, can you die in hell? Yes. You have a body that can die.
There's a look on her face like that's sort of news. Mm-hmm.
As for whether you can kill them, that becomes a bit more complicated. If there are others like yourself who are there as, shall we say, visitors, well, the same parameters would be there for them as well. If you are talking about those who have been condemned to hell, the odds are unfortunately weighted in their favor because they can die 1,000, 10,000, a million times, and they will come back because that is the consequence of their actions. So they can essentially hurt you more than you can hurt them, and I would recommend, really, really by recommend, I mean I would beg and plead in ways that I know you will not hear.
No, don't piss off the ghosts. Yeah.
Not the ghosts, the demons. Please do not
Right. Demons. Also,
engage
yes.
in an altercation with a demon.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to not experience that. You would like to not experience that. I'm sure. I
What does a
hope.
demon look like? We can talk on the way. That feels sillier to ask, perhaps.
It may sound strange, but you will know a demon when you see them, most likely. Most likely, as we are in hell. They tend to not bother to hide their forms when they are there in the way that they do when they are here.
A shame we could not bring Douglas. I'm sure he would give any demon a run for its money.
Who said we can't bring Douglas?
I was just going to say, is there something stopping us from bringing Douglas?
It depends how big the portal is, I suppose.
I can make it big enough for Douglas.
I mean, what's to say he wouldn't find himself at home and turn against us, though? Could we blame him?
He wouldn't turn against Fitz.
Douglas would never do that.
Not against Fitz, but there are 3 others.
Question. Who
Yes.
who is Douglas?
Oh.
So just my
So
horse.
you'll love Douglas.
Will I?
I think he's delightful.
I would have to agree.
Thank you.
Quite capable.
I will not ask questions about why we are bringing a horse with us to hell, but I suppose if that is the decision that is being made, I am just going to accept it, and
Are there
Listen.
streets in hell?
depends on the part of hell and how much that aligns with what you imagine. If you are just seeing lakes of fire, you will see lakes of fire, but if there are those who are seeing other spaces, well, it gets messy when there are a number of people walking in together.
So if I
But shall
imagine
we?
a fun hell, will it be nice? Can you positive think your way into a good hell? Not a good hell, but a better hell.
In my experience, no, and I did try to do that for a number of centuries.
Well, no time like the present. You know what they say. You can lead a horse to hell, but you can't make him drink it. So let's just go.
That's a good one.
Inspirational horse poster.
Inspirational demon horse poster.
I was going to say with the image that Joe just posted earlier. And so, the four of you and Douglas make your way back to the Carewood estate.
We're committing to Douglas.
Douglas might get a level up from hell. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Fey demon horse, let's go.
Douglas being sapiens. This will be the best day of my life.
Oh my god.
Oops, he's been a demon this whole time. Oh no.
He can't speak without cursing.
Good, let him.
Mouth like a sailor.
Let Douglas go off. Let him cook. Thank you.
Douglas say fuck, please.
Let
In fucking credible. We love all of this.
See, Douglas is here already. Maybe Douglas was one of us.
Douglas is Elise.
We are all Elise. Even you, gentle viewer. You too are Elise.
New LFTA merch when?
Just t-shirts with like name tags on them that just say Elise.
We'll
All right,
all have them for season 3.
I was gonna say,
Season 3 confirmed. Get in the comments.
Season 3, that's our uniform. We're wearing it.
Yes, Cass. You are Elise as well.
Unfortunately, you cannot be just a little guy Kit. You could be just a little guy Elise, though.
I now have to wrap my brain around where we are headed and the fact that this is not quite as light as the subject matter we are discussing right now.
We live for the emotional whiplash.
We do. We truly do.
This is the emotional whiplash table, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
100%. Sorry, I just had to. My mind went back to Raph and Carmen listing off the body parts that were not theirs, and then the pain that caused. If you do not know what I'm talking about, watch season 1. Don't know why you're watching season 2 first, but find out what that little bit of lore was about, because it made me cry. I did not see it coming. So Rhiannon, I'm curious. How are you feeling as you approach your estate?
They're feeling on edge because now they know their father's inside. They're feeling still hurt and angry from Carmen hiding. All of that. He knew there was a little pocket of hell in her terrace. He made a deal. She's hurt. She is also regretting her harsh words because she's kind of like, this could go really badly, and that might have been the last thing I said to him, and I'm a terrible person, so we're gonna come back. No one's getting left behind, and I'm going to come back and say, I'm sorry. Because even if I'm mad at him, that was harsh. So I have to do this right. All of this has to be right this time.
Do you go straight to that spot on the terrace?
She does, because she knows Elise is worried for her sister. She doesn't think they'll be doing anything to Clara, but she doesn't want it to take longer than it has to, and she doesn't want to deal with her father right now. And she has all the supplies she needs, what she had on her person with her tokens and what she was able to get from the palace. She would prefer to change, but you know what? We're just going to roll with it.
And Rhiannon, as you approach that spot on the terrace, it looks different to you. For the last several months, you have seen that as the quite literal mark of your failure. A scar on the property that has not changed and will not heal. And then you discovered what it actually was. A portal to hell that not only tied Carmen to their current master, but gave your father that opening to return when he was willing to make a deal he had always been against in life. But there's also a part of you that just in brief moments sees it the way Carmen sees it. Sees it as something beautiful. That even with the blackened plants, what you are now realizing is essentially scorched earth. It is where Carmen returned. And it has been their sanctuary these past several months. And while you might not understand it, and while you certainly do not like it, you almost feel a bit of the peace that Carmen feels when they're here. And it gives you what you need to reassure yourself that you are doing what you need to do and you can make things right. And this all started here. And it can end here too.
Just kind of stares at it for a moment as she's plucking at the strap of the bag with all the supplies. She knows what she needs to do for the ritual. She just kind of sighs and murmurs under her breath, I thought I was your sanctuary. Won't mess this up again. And she just kneels down and starts putting up the boundary ring to keep it contained in anything from ideally getting in or out that's not them, and then starts setting up for the ritual.
Fitz and Elise, what are the two of you doing as Rhiannon prepares for this next step?
Probably trying to be helpful and failing that, asking a lot of seemingly goofy questions about hell and trying to like prepare for it, I suppose. I don't know how many. I mean, I feel like at this point everyone in London sort of keeps something on them, weapon wise. But like, is there? I don't know. Does silver still work in hell? Is there something that is good for? Should we have holy water? Like these are like the
Got
stream
it.
of conscience
Rhiannon
questions.
hands you Fitz and Elise a vial of holy water she'd taken from the storage.
Oh shit! Thank you. Like just like still like stream of consciousness. Like some of the questions are goofy, some of them make perhaps a little too much sense. Um, but trying to be helpful, and if being helpful is asking the dumb questions so that nobody else has to, and so that they get asked, uh, she will do that.
I think Fitz has taken himself to, I almost just said a corner of the circle.
Fitz has said fuck geometry.
Yeah.
First of all,
some non-Euclidean shit going on here.
We don't fuck with Euclidean. I don't
It's
know
a
who
hell
that is.
circle. Why not?
Fuck with him.
The hell circle.
We're about to find out.
Maybe it's because I just watched a wrestling documentary, so I'm thinking about the squared circle. So Fitz is going to take himself to a part of the circle, and I think he's just sort of sitting there cleaning his weapons. Just like that sort of I mean, he's never really been in a battle because we've been at peace for a long time, but like he has a sort of meditative ritual about sharpening the sword, cleaning the pistols, and he does have a lot of them on him. I think he's always had the two dueling pistols on him since Horatia left, because that's always been a thing on his mind. And he's got the sword. It's also probably, knives, more knives than is comfortable. He has been strapped this entire time because he's worried about Horatia and what happens, and just like being ready. So yeah, he's going through his like making sure everything is sharp and cleaned and primed and loaded and ready to go.
Is there an element in this process of like Fitz pulling out more weapons than you would imagine one person could actually keep on their body?
Oh, absolutely. It's like knife from the boot, knife from the other side of the boot, and then more boot knives. His coat has a number of interior pockets that he's pulling stuff out of.
There's a knife from the lapel. It's like we don't know how it happened.
Just a little stiletto that comes out.
It's cute.
I
think it's charming.
Thank you. It was a gift from Dorian.
It would be.
So yeah, that's, and I don't think he's talking, like he's hearing all of what's going on, but he needs focus, and he needs to be rebuilding that wall a little bit, so that's what he's doing.
think especially with all of that going on, with all of the silver coming out and being polished and stuff, I think there is sort of a question probably pulling Julius to the side because I don't know that Elise wants to say this right next to Rhiannon, lest it be taken out of context. Although we're pretty well steeped in context at this point. Just like, so we know what is to be done with Horatia. We know to an extent how to deal with that. How do we deal with Isaac? You know I'm new to this. Is there a way that you could go about killing a witch? Like a special way? I assume the normal ways might work. I don't know. I don't know, Julius.
Julius looks a bit almost taken aback as you say that and furrows their brow.
Well, I don't want to kill him, but if it comes to that.
I did not realize that Isaac Connolly was on the list. I perhaps wrongly imagined that we were going to save him.
I would like to think that's possible. But I also know that the things that we want don't oft happen, especially this season. And my sister picked him out as one of her captors. I care far more for her safety than his. I would like to save him. I would like to save all of them. I can't keep deluding myself to think that that is a given. I will be saving all of us.
I understand where you're coming from, and I would not expect you to choose Isaac's safety over your sister's. Your sister and getting her back to safety is certainly the primary focus. I can see that the other focus is revenge. And I was more so clarifying if Isaac Connolly's name was on that list.
At this point, I don't believe that's my decision to make. I don't know that I have enough information to get a vote. The only reason that I've voted, as it were, on Horatia is, well, I'm sure it's quite obvious. It's also not my decision. But if he has hurt my sister of his own free will, I may get a vote.
Understood.
Would you want him off the list? Were I to get a vote, were the others to decide that his actions get consequences? Do you have stake in that?
It is not my job in the way it once was to uphold and maintain balance. But I do
I'm not
not
talking about your
believe
job, Julius. I'm talking about you. I know we've had our differences, but for better or worse, this has become personal. and you have become personally entangled in it.
Well, then, if I am personally getting a say, I know what it is like to be used as a tool, and I would not want to see another who has been used in that way punished for things that they were made to do beyond their control.
And let's hope that what he's done is for some greater purpose. Shall we? We can have hope and we can also have caution.
I certainly am not going into this with any preconceived notions in my mind. As I said, if Isaac's name is on the list purely for revenge, for things that he did not have any control over, that he was forced into, I can't even say that I believe he is redeemable, because that would suggest that he needs to be redeemed. I believe we just need to take the collar off, so to speak.
And if we can't get it off, if it comes down to Clara, if it comes down to one of us, if it comes down to you or him, I'm choosing you. I
And
want to
that
be able
is
to make that choice.
that is your choice to make, Elise, and I would not ask you to change it.
You will just not give me the tools to make it, I see. I understand.
We will get your sister back, Elise. And
Mm.
I will make sure that the rest of us make it out as well.
You said us, that includes you.
It does.
Good.
I would have said you if I meant otherwise.
I'm just clarifying. We've discussed I'm not the best at grammar. Can't have all gone to boarding school.
It was more of a kennel club in my case.
I know, darling, and you're all the better for it.
Thank you.
Julius once again regrets their life and choices.
You have so many friends.
See, here's the thing. Now I'm going to have to ask Rhiannon, and I'm going to feel quite bad about that.
Ask me what?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's fine. Guess we'll figure it out when we figure it out. I don't know.
You know, that sounds as good as any plan to me right now.
Yeah. Like, Julius, I respect your decision, but also, like, I'm just going to assume this means I've asked a dumb question and the normal methods will suffice.
There are no dumb questions.
And so, are we ready?
Yeah.
Define ready, JD.
Yeah.
Road trip to hell?
Shall I roll with dark?
You know, I think I'd like to keep the suspense on that just a little bit longer, and so
Mother.
I would love to hear, what does it look like as the spell begins?
Brandon has studied the spell a lot because she always needs a way out. She doesn't want to be locked up or trapped anywhere again. It's complex, so there are a lot of overlapping sigils to the point where it looks like it almost is all just one shape within the boundary circle. And she starts casting the spell, and the chalk that she's drawn on the stones just kind of starts shifting into swirling into the center. It's white chalk, and as the spell keeps going, it almost shimmers like the surface of a lake or the light in a mirror, maybe. And plants start to curl around the edges of this reflective surface, both plants from the garden and the hell plants as well. And as she continues casting, it is mainly the strange alien hell plants at this point that are now forming the border of what is to be their door.
And as this portal begins to form, as you prepare to step through it, what is going through your head, Fitz?
Well, unsurprisingly, Fitz is of two minds about this. One of them is intent on finding Elise's sister. That's what matters. There is only so much that revenge can get you. Horatia is a problem to be dealt with, but the active harm that is ongoing is what's happened to the person that Fitz loves. And so getting that piece of Elise back is what he's focusing on. The other part of him is mentally preparing for a bloodbath. There is an active relish to this notion that there is going to be violence and there is going to be combat and blood. And so I think Fitz is not settled. There's a lot of nervous energy there, and he's swinging back and forth between the focus and still and a creature that is just waiting to be unleashed. So I think the war that's going on is mostly he's swinging his focus between Elise and the portal that's developing, trying to center himself between these two, trying to keep himself focused on Elise and that good that can be done, that important thing that needs to be done, and setting aside the very personal reasons why he wants to go.
And speaking of Elise, what is going through their head?
Oh, what isn't at this point? I think Elise has been putting on a brave face for a minute. And I think Elise has been keeping it together a lot. But there is only so long that can last, and I think we are the closer that Rhiannon gets to finishing this spell, the closer Elise can feel herself getting to not being able to keep her shit together. Because now it's real. Now we're actually going to hell to deal with the fact that somebody took my sister, to deal with my fiance's shitty vindictive sister and the witch that she is either helping or has kidnapped or something, or we don't know what's going on, and we don't know what's going on, and we don't know. And Elise doesn't know. Elise is used to not knowing things. But it's all kind of coming to a head now, because up until now she could kind of get by not knowing things, being the new one in the ton, and that was fine. And it was even kind of quirky and cute, right? That, oh, look at this person who has no idea, let me teach them, right? It's not cute anymore. It's getting people hurt. So Elise doesn't know what's happening. Elise is terrified. And Elise is putting on a brave face. But I think is sort of trying to focus all of that nervous energy on trying to steady everybody else. So trying to actively has a hand in Fitz's trying to steady that. The hand is shaking. She's trying to hold it together by holding everyone else together, and it is very quickly not working. Is kind of where we're at.
I was going to say, I think Fitz is noticing this because that is where his focus has been. So if you weren't taking a hand, he was going to come over and offer one. And I think noticing the tremble, there's just that squeeze of reassurance that this is going to be okay.
Yeah. She squeezes back and does the very much puts on the brave face, gives him a winning smile. He knows it's fake. Very much so. But by God, we're doing the damn thing. Because what other choice do we have?
None. Zero.
Nope. But we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be great, and we're gonna go to hell.
I hear it's lovely this time of year.
We're all getting out together.
Getting a timeshare in hell.
Abigail probably already has one.
Please,
No
Abigail
doubt.
doesn't timeshare.
She has timeshare now.
No.
Timeshare is someone's
Abigail
hell.
has her own bespoke condo in hell.
Yes.
And we are lucky if we get invited. So
she might Airbnb it to us if we're nice.
She might, just for exorbitant.
She would come too.
It's an Airbnb, but she's also there. It's
right. It's just I wanted friends to stay. So
yeah, it's like a summer party, but you're paying for it.
Right, but pay,
because it's hell.
Pay me.
There's nothing more Abigail than that. And last but not least, Rhiannon, what is going through your head in these last few moments before the spell is complete?
I think there is an attempt to push down all her fear and anxiety and regret, which has all been kind of brought to the surface these past few hours for all these things, because she knows she can do this. She is talented. She is powerful. She can handle this spell. She's going to handle this spell. There is no room for failure. She will make sure her friends are okay. She will make sure they get in and out. And then she will make sure to come back and kick her father's ghost out of her goddamn house and apologize to her boyfriend, who she's still mad at, but that's okay. So it's more just, give me something I know what to do with, because everything else is a mess.
And Julius, who has been standing just off to the side, giving you your space but watching you work. Takes a moment to catch your eye, Rhiannon, and as you take a breath, preparing for the final steps, he just nods at you and says, "You're one of the most powerful witches I've ever seen, Rhiannon. You can do this. And I would like you to take a +1 to that roll, which I would like you to make right now."
Oh no! Okay, eyes filling up with tears, but she's got this. I got 2 to dark. Wow, thank you. Okay, we're gonna get thrown in the garbage. So that's really good that I got the +1 because that brings it to a 7, which is a success. But this dice, you enter your darkest self, which I'm already in. Something escapes into the mundane world, or we'll need to find another way back. Everyone keeps telling her she's powerful. She's beginning to doubt that very much.
And so, just out of curiosity, Rhiannon, since you can't become your darkest self, does something escape, or do you need to find another way back?
One of those is more complicated to fix, which is something escaping. So I think, because even though the spell is not perfect, she's still doing it. She can do it again, so we're gonna need to find another way back.
Incredible. And so,
Go away.
the 4 of you, including Julius, watch that, as you said, almost surface of a lake, reflection of a mirror. You watch it solidify into a clear image of a door. And it is a bit jarring because the door, it's not a trapdoor, but it is in the ground. And Julius reaches down and pushes it open. And as he looks back at you, you see that he no longer has eyes, just flame from where those eyes were.
Ooh.
That is where we are going to take our break for tonight. We will take 10 minutes to process all of the emotional damage and the roller coaster that has happened, and we will be back in just about 10 minutes. So don't go anywhere because we're going to hell.
Big success is still a success.
Katie, what the fuck? Oh my god.
I couldn't resist with the things you were saying, Kit. And then we had Finn. Like, I needed to jump us back in.
Yeah, thanks for that, JD. Thanks for that.
So soft.
Fine,
He
I
is
can
so
cut it in
soft.
post.
And he
No,
smells of
listen, this is
vanilla.
how I go down in history.
Vanilla. Oh, freshly groomed. Oh.
That means a Build-A-Bear. I don't know what to tell you. I say this every time, but it's true. He's a Build-A-Bear.
I mean, he is.
Oh, shoot. Secret second, baby.
Oh.
There was a secret second baby. We are blessed tonight.
Yes, it's a boy. The rarely seen in person Sid, because he's always hiding in my room because he's a big wuss. And I love you. There's too much anxiety in that body.
Yeah. Hey, Sid. Same. Same.
I say that to him every day. I'm also
day.
like, Sid, you're not special. Like, we've all got anxiety.
You're very
listen,
special.
man. Listen, man.
What do you have to be anxious about? You don't do any work.
What if the food bowl is not filled?
He. Oh no, he does.
Then get him more food. You will starve him.
I know. Well, see, these are the things that a Sid might be worried about.
He's also afraid of the television.
He's afraid of everything. You sneeze, he runs away. You laugh too loudly, he runs away. You talk too loudly, he runs away.
Perhaps
those are loud noises.
Stop it.
Perhaps sit in silence forever.
Have you considered not?
Just not.
I just like your sneeze. Just a suggestion.
Only he's allowed to sneeze.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, because he's perfect. He's done nothing wrong ever in his life.
I don't know that he wanted to say hello. He's very angry right now. But we're going to let him
adorably angry.
I'll be right back.
Thank you for gifting us with this blessing.
Thank you for tolerating this silly dog.
Tolerating? No, he's a gift.
That's my husband.
If it's at least
if nobody kills him first.
I don't know why everyone's so stressed. I am so certain that everything is going to be fine. I mean,
yeah, that dice is in timeout. I'm not using it anymore.
Exactly. And you know what?
It's on that.
I helped.
Bread, it's fine.
Don't get scared. It's a fan. It's a fan.
I'm just method acting.
Elise just pulls out a hunk of
stress
bread.
eating.
If you think she doesn't keep that thing on her and that thing is half a baguette, like, you're wrong. I don't. Elise has had good bread for the first time in her fucking life. She is not letting that go. Alex, you can confirm this. We have discussed in depth that Elise is a slut for bread.
The good bread.
That's right.
The good bread. No, like bread for bread's sake. Not like bread for like carbs and sustenance and keeping soul and body together, but like bread because bread is good.
No, one of the first things that we determined they bonded over was shared bread and coffee.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is so cute.
Fitz knows a baker.
Yeah. Can't believe we're giving these character facts away for free. Oh no.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you just got to give them out as a treat. Just a little treat.
And then incentivize for more.
Yeah, remember everyone, we do have the option of using channel points for things like character facts. And also to make good things and not so good things happen. So
we don't need to talk about the second one.
Yes,
you know. I'm just putting it out there.
My dice were already doing that for you, JD.
I know.
And it's in timeout now.
Your dice are out here secretly redeeming channel points.
How did they get so many? God damn it.
They've been hoarding them this whole time. Alex, they've been here the whole time.
I know they've been here the whole time, but God damn it.
And Will has let us know that he is grateful for the reminder, and Cass redeemed good stuff.
Yay! Thank you.
Hey, Will, how dare you?
Also, yeah, Will, thank you for the bad stuff.
Yeah, Will.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Will, turn your location on real quick. I just want to talk.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, you know, the good stuff and the bad stuff should even itself out.
One bad thing, one good thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works.
Chase your sister.
And so, we are on a really fun trip together, an experience that we are all going to remember for the rest of our lives, however long those may be.
Oh, Douglas is having the best time out of anyone. That horse is thriving.
In his lane. Moisturized.
Truly. Unfucking bothered. You have to break out the horse curses now. We're in his domain.
I am going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So Julius steps in first, but who steps in after him?
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine Rhiannon has to go last because of the magic. So
Who's
I
gonna?
imagine.
If not first, then probably last. That I don't.
So I think Fitz's instinct would be to let Elise go second and then follow very closely behind, because Julius knows what Julius is. Fitz puts him down a little bit, but Julius knows what he's doing. So
We can't let him know we know this about him.
oh, absolutely not. We have to drag him as
Mhm.
often as possible. So I think if Julius goes through, Fitz will trust that they know what they're doing, so we'll indicate that Elise should go, and then Fitz will follow very close after.
Yeah, if it doesn't look like Rhiannon is like going in first, because Elise does not know how this shit works. But trust that if Rhiannon needed to go in now to like do for magic purposes, that they would. So if not, then yeah, Elise will just, fuck decorum, stomping into hell.
We love to see that. We do genuinely love to see that.
I brought my stomping boots. Covered in flour, stomping into hell. No.
And I just imagine Douglas next. Unless Fitz is just riding Douglas into hell.
No, I
What
actually
an image,
think
though.
I think because this is maybe Douglas's domain, Fitz might give a little gesture to like allow Douglas choice to go through first. I don't know if that's polite.
So I'm going to throw this question to you, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
As Douglas steps through, does anything about him change?
4 teeth.
Just allow me a little roll here, if you don't mind. I'm gonna leave that up to the dice. I rolled a 12 on 2d6, which is the best possible outcome, so absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, Douglas embraces his full demonic form, which is that of underworld demon horse. Horse skull, flaming tail, jet black, gets little spikies on his joints. Not a pleasant image, but he's a good boy to me.
It's his
What do you
boy.
mean not a pleasant image?
I mean, Douglas
dare you.
is scurry. He's a scurry boy.
Goodest
And
scurry.
I imagine that as Douglas walks into hell, head held high, that each time his hooves touch the ground, they spark.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And I think this image is coming to me from Peter Jackson's classic The Lord of the Rings. But like there's just blood on him as well. Just like he's not bleeding, but he's just like all of a sudden drenched in blood. Bless his heart.
Incredible. So we have Julius, Elise, Douglas, Fitz, and then Rhiannon closing the portal behind them.
Yup.
And Rhiannon, it is not that you have done anything wrong, and you know this in this instant because you stepped through, you opened the portal. You didn't just leave it open for anyone else to fall through. But you were always supposed to have the key. And as it steals behind you, you realize that this space, this realm, and perhaps those who have more direct control and influence over it are displeased with you, with your attempt to stifle and contain. And this is essentially a fuck you to you as you move through. And you realize that you've gotten in, but you are not certain at all how you are going to get out, because it certainly is not going to be through here.
Made one door. I can make another door.
And so the now quartet of you, no, yes, wait,
Plus Douglas.
plus Douglas, yep.
Quintet.
I'm struggling with the number.
Douglas actually counts for 2.
You just keep multiplying. We go to
Every time you look, there's
infinity.
another Douglas. It's just
Absolutely.
I do have some of my boyfriend's stalker gifts, so
Good to know.
those have her tokens.
We'll keep that in mind as
She
things
still got
progress.
the pendant on that she made from the spider and the moth wing.
I love a classic stalker gift.
And so you move down a hallway. It's sort of a hallway. It is a path. It is underground. And it is lit with flickering light, though there is no light source save for the fire burning in Julius's eyes and the sparks from Douglas's hooves. You feel contained, and whether that is an unpleasant feeling or a comforting feeling is really up to each of you to decide, because you do not get the sense that there is any danger. This isn't like a bottleneck that is being created for you to move through. You are not about to run a gauntlet. There is this sense of these walls are protecting you, but also these walls are limiting your options if something does happen. Though Julius and Douglas do not seem concerned. This seems to be a part of the process, as far as you can tell from their demeanor. That remains true, even when the screams start to echo, bouncing off the walls around you, making the hair on the back of your neck stand on end. How are each of you feeling as you descend deeper and deeper?
That depends, JD. Are the screams familiar?
No.
Interesting.
The sense of containment is definitely putting Rhiannon a little on edge, but seeing Julius and Douglas looking unbothered, it's just like, okay, this is the process. I think she is also feeling strange because hell obviously has its own type of nature since it was growing through her patio. But it's not one she is used to. So she's not used to how it sits on her skin yet.
I think it's just alertness from Fitz. He's got weapons out, sword and pistol, and is moving slowly, but not too slow. Just that sort of like combat scan, if you will. But clearly a spring, just ready to uncoil at the slightest trigger. And I think given where we are, there's also some attempt to not get overwhelmed by the smell. Because I feel like it was bad enough at the Carrollwood estate, but actually being here, I don't know how Horatio stands it. You know, that's part of what is kind of fucking him up so much, is that this is an unnatural place in terms of it's so overpowering and so overwhelming that for someone to be able to just live here, there's got to be something significantly wrong. I mean, he knows that, but this just like confirms it for him, and there's more weight in his stomach because of that thought.
I think weirdly, and maybe not weirdly, in the same way as Fitz, Elise is sort of hit in the face with the smell of it all. Also, because you did say Douglas is dripping blood. You did say that. You said that with your mouth words, and now I have to live in that reality. So thank you for that, darling.
This is my gift to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alex is just making the bad stuff happen.
Yeah, Will said bad stuff, and I said say less.
Like I said, bet. Blood horse.
It's just extra flavor.
It's just extra. It is. It is. And it's all over the air, and I am so viscerally aware of it. But I think she can distinguish, horse, but also demon, but also I don't know if I want to eat that. For a number of reasons. But there's, I imagined, enough, pain and sorrow. It's hell. So there's a lot of it. And I think for a second it was like, it's a regular corridor. Excellent. I can do that. I've done those. It's, I am assuming very bare bones of I don't imagine there's a lot of artwork, right? Like, but like big confining featureless corridor. I can handle that. I live in the palace. That's okay. And then the screams and walking into it, just all of the sort of sensory overload happening. Elise just feels so small. And she hates to feel small. So she's angry, as if she hasn't been already. But it's just, I fully with Fitz, it is sensory overload happening, like probably taking a step, falling back, and finding his hand again, because he has been the one so far that can hold her back.
And
I don't want to eat your horse yet, but the night is young.
So a couple of things. One, it is funny that you say bare bones, because there are a lot of bones. The walls and ceiling and even parts of the ground you're walking upon are just filled with them. And when you realize that, the corridor does get more confining, because there's this sense of precariousness to them, that they could fall at any instant. And Elise, I would like you to roll to keep your cool, because as you are moving through this tunnel, as you are getting, I was going to say closer to fresh air, but that doesn't quite encapsulate it. That smell of blood is just increasing by the moment, where it's not just coming from Douglas standing not far from you, but from more bodies than you can possibly count that are up ahead.
Great. Awesome. Cool. This might go real bad, guys. Let's find out together.
Roll to avoid the buffet.
We'll see. That is a 7. That is a 6 plus 1.
Okay.
Haha.
Absolutely incredible.
Elise is, as always, fucking holding it together by a thread.
It's white knuckling it.
Literally. Just Fitz can feel the engagement ring digging into his hand. Like,
He just squeezes your hand harder.
good. Do it. Break my hand. I don't care.
No,
Like,
no, not breaking the hand, but
do
Mark,
it. It'll
nope.
be a distraction.
No.
I mean, it also is funny that you mention a distraction, because I think it is at around that point as you step out, you don't even have a chance to process what is beyond this corridor you've been walking down, because as Douglas steps out, he paws the earth and it rumbles beneath. And he says, "Oh, it is good to be home."
Douglas, my boy.
Darling, I think your horse just said words.
Oh, he really is a hell horse.
I didn't know it did that.
I wasn't joking. Douglas, are you all right? You're okay?
Oh, I am better than okay. I am home.
So I have a question for you, Douglas. May I call you Douglas?
And he looks disgruntled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Angie.
You have a different horse name.
I am not a horse.
Indeed. No, you were quite different from the other equines shaped beings that I had encountered. I had an inkling, but I have a question for you. If you are indeed from here, this is your home, would you be willing to help us if I were to encourage you to stay here? Whatever contract or bargain my father made that brought you into our world, I am willing to renounce it or break it if that is what you would desire.
And Douglas cocks his head to the side and considers that. And then says, "I will accept your offer. I do not like dolls. Those
No.
were unpleasant, and I do not want to go back to those."
Now, if you help us find Elise's sister and help us return. You never need to come back to our world again.
I have your word.
Douglas, or the creature that was formerly known as Douglas, we have known each other for many years. You are a dear friend, regardless of where you're from. And you have my word.
And Douglas says, I agree to the terms of that deal.
Fitz puts out his arm to shake.
And Douglas shakes his head and says, no. We are making a contract, and contracts come with names. Write yours on my body, and that will complete our deal.
Fitz pulls out the penknife that he's carrying with him. Will this do?
Douglas nods.
I will actually then just poke my own finger and sign Fitzgerald
Solid
Villiers.
3 steps back.
Douglas is an equine-shaped being of his word.
I feel like Julius gave us 2 rules and we've broken them already, but he shouldn't be mad because we brought the horse with us. So
Julius is just watching this with
disappointment.
just like it is 110% just that this might as well happen. Like, I'm not even going to intervene. Though he does look concerned as he looks over at Elise.
I think Elise is sort of backed up into them a little bit. Because I think they would rather go to Rhiannon, but they know for a fact that Julius already knows what's up. They know that it has been hinted at around Rhiannon, and they are very uncomfortable about that. But they know that Julius knows, so they will understand and hopefully do what needs done. But yeah, just sort of backed up within a pace or two of him, should he see fit to do what needs done. She's fine. It's fine. She's holding it together. We're chill. We're cool.
And Julius looks at Elise and then each of you in turn. Slight look of disappointment at Fitz, but also a helpless sort of shrug combined with that, and asks, well, now that we have started to make deals, are we all ready to move forward?
Yes, the equine being formerly known as Douglas is happy to assist us.
Yes, I heard all of that.
Technically, Julius, we brought Douglas with us.
That is true, and I should have recognized that being for what they are. Well, let us follow Douglas's lead. And I think there is a moment as Douglas starts to lead the way and Julius steps a little closer to him, where you do hear Julius ask, or more say, I was wondering where you disappeared to. I had no idea that this is what had happened. But it is good to see you again, old friend.
Reunions. We love to see it.
Old friend, huh?
Douglas is also my old friend, Julius. Another thing we have in common.
So many things that we have in common, yes, Fitz. And he does look back once more at Elise, but the five of you make your way forward, and it is what you expected, Elise.
Great.
Brimstone, lakes of fire, horrible things happening in the distance that thankfully from here you cannot clearly see, but you can hear the screams.
Mhm.
And you don't know if it is because Douglas and Julius as well are there with you, but nothing approaches, nothing gets in your way. It is an unsettling experience to be sure, but there are not hordes of demons coming at you. And maybe actually that makes it worse because the area around you is still.
Yeah, it's not great.
I was expecting a little bit more activity, but
Maybe they don't know we're here yet.
which is to our advantage.
Or they're waiting.
They're waiting.
Or we've chosen an intimidating being to come in with. Just sort of eyeing Douglas. Now with more blood. At least we'll remember that. It's fine. Everything's fine. Just sort of probably sticking a little bit closer to Julius than perhaps anyone else at this point. Sort of where are we? How long until we get there? I guess.
Douglas, are we there yet?
It's unstarted.
I
It's Douglas.
did not agree to be asked questions like this. We will be there when we are there.
Sorry, Elise. Douglas might turn this horse around at any moment. So
Douglas can do as Douglas sees fit, I suppose. As
you
can
know
we all.
Douglas. He's an excellent polo player.
I do like polo.
Yes, and you're very good at it.
Why do you say it like that?
I like biting the other
Yes.
horses that are horses.
Yes. And let's never forget that I did not discourage you from doing that.
No, you didn't. You encouraged it.
Yes. Bit of an unfair advantage, but you know.
They
Elise, are
were
you all right?
delicious.
Elise, are you all right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. You should wrap that up.
I'm sorry, I was so overwhelmed. I didn't even think of the smell. Fitz shoots his pistol and then presses his finger to the...
No, I don't.
No, no blood. We'll be fine.
I could have. Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Julius just looks at you, Fitz, and gestures and says, "Was all the fire not good enough?"
Wasn't exactly my point.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm all bits and bobs right now.
No, that's fair. This is a very abnormal situation. Rhiannon is just scanning for, like, where are we going? Is there threats incoming?
When can I be out of this petty squabble?
Can I just be out of hell? Really?
Just like to go, if I could.
It's not the nature I'm used to, but it is nature.
Hell is hanging out with your friends, but there are a couple in there fighting.
Oh my god, it did manifest.
Yeah.
No!
Shit! Hell is other people!
Oh no! Maybe hell was the friends we met along the way! Damn it. Sorry, guys, we solved hell. Great season.
Yep.
Woo!
Episode ended here.
It's actually all we had for the season.
So that's a wrap, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did it.
Saw
It was a
hell,
good
saw
run.
Douglas spoke, the end. That's all I was building up for was Douglas.
It's true.
The Douglas reveal, and then flash cut, end of season.
While we are following the equine being formerly known as Douglas, do you want to talk? I literally don't know how long this is going to take, so we have time.
We do. But I am trying to keep it together. And I would not normally be so on edge. And I don't want to have a conversation while I am on edge that would not otherwise happen. I don't want to say anything that I will regret.
It's extremely fair. Is there anything I can do right now? Here. Ignore the space. Just...
I don't think that's possible, darling.
Do you need me to be over there?
I just need you to remember yourself. That, especially with what we are going up against, I would quite like it if we both made it home so that we can fight about petty things then.
Well, there was never any question that we're getting out of this.
Just worry.
Can't tell you how much I worry. You know, we worry. It's who we are as people. But this is going to be okay. We are going to be okay. Your sister's going to be okay. Horatia is not going to be okay.
No, I don't think she will.
Focus on that if you need to.
When it comes down to that, do you want that one?
Listen, Horatia has hurt all of us. Every single one of us.
Some more than others.
It's not a contest of comparing scars. We all have them. When it comes down to it, I don't need it. I just need to know that she can't hurt any of us anymore.
We'll try to leave her for you.
Silly bow. Very much appreciated, Miss Clarendon.
A very stilted but goofy curtsy. Anything for you, Captain? Just cracking the knuckles, like, just... Everything sucks and it's so much all the time.
Wow. Yeah. Are you talking about the game or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm like that's
It's too
mood. Yeah.
It's it is what it is.
And speaking of it being what it is, that is the moment when Douglas says, "You asked when we would be here. We are now here."
Thank you, Douglas.
So matter
Most
of fact.
appreciated.
What is here, JD?
You don't see anything. And that is certainly jarring because Douglas sounds very certain. As you said, very matter of fact. And you're looking around and you're like, that this looks like the same place we passed like 7 times. Pretty sure we passed that tree trunk before. Don't know what makes this special. And even Julius, for a moment, is looking around and has his brow furrowed. And then nods. Ah. Of course. I mean, we knew that one of them, at least one of them, I have an idea which one, made a deal. Of course they did. And at that moment, Douglas paused the earth again and churns it up. In fact, a pool of molten something, you're not quite sure what, starts to appear beneath his hoof. And the earth cracks in front of him. And then branches up into the air. Not unlike a mirror. But you can't look through a mirror, and you can look through this. And you see what looks like not a castle. That would be giving it way too much credit, and who would get permission to use the residence of one of the demons of hell, one of the princes, no less. Not that grandiose. But it is large. It is at least an estate. And it is made of obsidian stone filled with flickering lights. And Douglas looks to you, Fitz. Our deal is complete. She is inside.
I said out and back, Douglas.
So you did.
We will be back. You don't have to help with this. That wasn't part of it. We will be back, and then we'll leave.
If I had to have a human, you were not a bad human.
Douglas, you were the best equine-shaped being that a werewolf could ask for.
That's right, you're not a human.
I'm not. You know that.
You are human-shaped.
Correct. Equine-shaped, human-shaped.
You were the best human shape that I could have asked for.
Douglas, we are the best friend shape
I do not know what that means.
It means that if you ever find yourself in our world again, of your own free will, you are welcome on the de Villiers estate. No stalls, but also no biting human shapes. Or trampling human shapes.
What about biting equine shapes?
I'll allow it.
Douglas looks pleased.
I think Fitz then gives Douglas a very similar silly bow to Elise and then goes through the portal.
And what of the rest of you?
I mean, the hatchet's out and I'm walking in. Like, I don't have time for, I don't have, honestly, I don't have the patience for much more decorum than that. The hatchet has been here the whole time. Sorry about it. Um, Hatchet's out. Twirl. I'm gonna go find my sister.
I think before Rhiannon steps through, when the portal had appeared, she still has the thorns in her hair, but when the portal appeared, she just had startled, and there had been thorns kind of twining down her arms and across her collarbone. It almost looked like the vines might have been growing from her collarbone. But she also had sprouted poisonous flowers in her hair, like foxglove and oleander. She just takes a deep breath and she pauses. She looks at Julie. She says, "Whose estate is that?"
I would rather not speak his name. Names have power.
I know.
I would rather we do not draw further attention to ourselves than we are about to.
I suppose that would include his title as well.
His title has fallen into disgrace.
I want to ask why. Once we have Elisa's sister back, I will pose some more questions to you.
I will answer what I can.
I appreciate it. She just kind of steels herself and just puts her hand on the pouch where she keeps her tokens and follows the others.
And so, the four of you, as Julius is still with you, though Douglas does stay behind. Honestly, you're not entirely sure as you approach the doors that Douglas would have easily fit through these spaces, and that could have become difficult, though you also are not sure that Douglas has to stay in that form any longer. So there is that too. But regardless of his reasons, he has decided to stay on the outside. But the four of you step through and see the spires of this building reaching up further into the sky, though there is no sky here exactly. It is just a burnished red from horizon to horizon, moving up endlessly above you. And you step up, and if you just go to throw open the doors, they open. Nothing stops you.
Oh, I don't like that sign.
Can we hear anything inside? And or I guess some of us smell anything specifically.
That is an interesting question.
Mm.
I think that, first of all, I would like Fitz to roll heightened senses.
Okay, JD, silly question. Is the moon out?
The hell moon, you know.
Is the hell
The
moon
hell moon.
risen?
The hell moon is
there a hell moon on the
tragically
ride?
not out.
Alack. Alack and alas. All right. We roll with dark then, which is not good. Okay. All right. That's an 8 minus 1. That's 7.
Amazing.
Sevens tonight.
So you
I
can ask one
know.
question and take 1 + 1 forward.
Okay. That's a fine question. Can I think on it while you talk to other people, or do I need to make my decision right now?
You can take a few moments. We will touch base with Elise, and I think, Elise, I am going to also have you roll with dark.
Okay. That's a thing you can ask me to do. Let me see. I don't know if this counts to use scent of blood, but I feel like I should ask. It's not technically what that's for, but
I'll give it. Yeah,
feels
I'll give it to you.
it feels appropriate,
I
right?
think it
Does.
does. Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'll give you that.
Excellent. Cool.
You smell
But
blood, there is
just
the
straight
scent of
roll.
blood.
I thank you.
Yes.
Not gonna help though, because that just makes it a straight roll, and that's a 6.
Because Elise is just a little guy.
There's just so much of it all over the place. I can't tell what's inside and what's outside of the house, let alone bodies.
And I think, to your point earlier, it also does not help with the scent of sulfur still all around you. And in fact, that scent is even stronger inside somehow than it was outside. And it kind of masks everything else.
Don't like it. I think she like tries to focus on it for a second and then realizes that's a bad idea.
And in terms of sound, you don't hear anything. You are standing in the foyer and you see a staircase taking up most of the space of this fairly grand hall, branching out to either side. And then you look up and you see level after level after level of these stairs. And yet it is silent. There are no guards. It almost seems as though this place is empty. And you might even think it is, except for the fact that Julius is sniffing the air. But before we get to that, oh,
I'm torn between two questions, but I think. I would like to know what the secret weakness of this place is, and the people who run it.
I love that. There were a few questions I was looking at that I was a big fan of, and that was definitely one of them. And so you have learned so much about military tactics. That you're taking in this scene, you're taking in the appearance of this place, and what you begin to realize is I was going to say that you might say your sister is not foolish, but as you pointed out earlier, the fact that she has chosen to place herself in such an environment for such a prolonged period of time, the actions she has taken, the choices she has made are not those of a rational person who is thinking through their actions and not making impulsive decisions. And you are thinking about what was said earlier about the fact that they don't know that you are coming. And you realize that what the weakness here is the fact that they were not actually prepared to face you on this turf. They were planning something certainly with Clara. They would not have taken her as bait, but they did not expect that you would be finding her here. And so you have the ability, potentially at least, to get in and out without much knowledge until it's been done.
Okay. So Fitz is of two minds of this, unsurprisingly. One of them, Fitzbrain, says Clara is the mission. We have to get her out, and if we can do that without encountering anyone and putting people that I care about and love at risk, then that's what we should do. The wolf part says she's not expecting it. We can gank her. Just gank her right now. So I'm gonna roll to keep my cool.
I was just about to invite you to do that.
Thank you. Okay. By the way, my cold is -1. So just putting that out into the world. That is a 7 -1.
So good news, you mark experience, and everyone who's been failing their rolls, make sure you've been marking that experience.
Mhm.
So
We're
that
having a
does
good one today, babe.
that's a level up for me.
Oh.
Yeah!
And since we're at this point, I'm just gonna add to a stat here. Just gonna add to volatile.
That's fair.
Okay. I think in that instance, as Fitz is like thinking about all of this, he just pulls another pistol out of his coat and fires it and says, Horatia, I'm calling you out. I'm here. And then he will look over at Julius and Elise and Rhiannon and say, go find Clara.
You're too much for your own good. But she is going to grab Elise's hand and just go towards the stairs. Because I've scryed before, can I gaze into the abyss to find the fastest route towards Clara? That is dark with
Take a
different...
+1.
Oh, thank you. Dark with different dice. Okay. Me. That is an 8. Mixed success. So confusing and alarming visions, but I get my answer. This is great because we're in hell.
You know, and I love it when the dice just perfectly tell the story, because as you gaze into the abyss, Rhiannon, you are... I was going to say rattled, but that word isn't quite the right one. Rattled, angered, all of the emotions that are swirling in response to Fitz's, shall we say, impulsive and reckless action that just happened.
It was kind of baller, though.
It was really badass. I almost called the episode right there, but there's a few more things that we have to experience before that happens. So you are yourself of two minds in a lot of ways, because Clara is the mission, but you are also separating from someone who has just invited risk and danger. And so as you gaze into the abyss, trying to find the threads that connected you to Clara before, you start to see them. You see threaded shadows moving their way up the stairs, and you know that if you follow those, you will reach where Clara is being held. But as you're trying to make sense of that, as you're trying to make sure you have clarity in that path, you keep seeing images of Fitz. Of Fitz bleeding. Of grievous injuries that you're not sure he can heal. Of him lying in a pool of blood on the obsidian floor. Partially wolf, partially human, and not breathing. But you also know, if you don't act now, you will not be able to get Clara out of here. You are on a ticking clock, thanks to what Fitz has just done.
Just checking my moves really quick to see if there's some kind of spell I can leave out. Because I don't have a token from Horatia, that bitch. And she will turn, skid to a stop and look at Julius and just do, watch him.
Julius looks furious when you say that. And says, I did not agree to throw myself into harm's way because of another's actions.
Then
you do not control me.
And would you please escort Elise to Clara as quickly as possible? Please.
And Julius looks at Fitz, then at you, Rhiannon.
We're all getting out of here.
Did not have to be like this.
I know. I'm not arguing that. I know where she is. Can you see it too? Or can you look into my mind and see the path?
I can get Elise to her.
Thank you.
I can get us back to Fitz. Go.
And Rhiannon, making sure that Julius and Elise are booking it, will find a spot for cover so that whoever's coming doesn't see her, but just kind of gives Fitz a look of like, you're not alone. I've got your back.
I think there is a scowl almost, but then a nod of appreciation, and he sort of taps his lapel where that charm that Rhiannon sent is still sitting.
I put a... Okay, JD knows I did a thing with that charm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
And so we're going to leave the two of you in the foyer as Elise and Julius are running up the stairs. Were you not as fast as you are, and were Julius not capable of moving at a speed you have never seen them move at before, there might be problems, because you hear footsteps moving down the other set of stairs. And then you see, just out of the corner of your eye, a figure full-on leap from one of the upper levels, transforming into a wolf midway down, and landing with a resounding crash that cracks the stone, not far from where Fitz and Rhiannon stand, but we'll get back to that. Julius keeps you moving, because that is the mission, that is what needs to happen.
Yep. Certainly. I mean, I don't think Elise even says anything to Fitz when they leave. I think there is a look of, you better know what you're doing. And like booking it. And if Julius wants to lead Elise, they are going to have to actively be faster than her.
Which they are.
Interesting. Noted.
Not what you would have expected, but
Yeah.
they are.
Interesting. We'll deal with that later.
And so, Elise, you and Julius go through a variety of turns. And Julius never slows. He has zeroed in on exactly where you are headed.
Good.
You reach the bedroom that you saw in the vision. Julius does stop you before you full on go running.
And he has
sigils.
to. Physically, yeah.
Because he catches that immediately and is like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, he pauses. Elise does not just like armbar, like absolutely not.
And you see Clara leap to her feet. So that seems to ease her mind a bit, but she does whisper, Elise, is it really you?
Oh God, what was that cat's name? Oh man, I wrote it somewhere. There is the cat that Clara keeps in the barn. What is that fool's name? I did not think I was going to have to reference that tonight. But
it is tragically not in my notes. I just checked.
No, I'm like looking at my notes. Where is this cat? Oh no. But yeah, I think his name was like Sir Mousington or something, like something goofy like that. We'll check the VOD in post. But
it
I
was
think
Sir Reginald Mousington.
Sir Reginald Mousington.
Oh!
I have that in our conversation, but that was a deep dive.
Because his cat. Yeah, I think Elise sort of like has that like physically held back, just like shut the fuck up. But like sort of like very conspiratorially, like, yes, we're in danger, yes, everything sucks, I'm still your big sister. Just sort of, Sir Reginald Mousington sends his regards. Just the most fancy bow.
She relaxes a bit. And Julius, meanwhile, has knelt down and is studying the sigils on the floor. And then takes a deep breath. And you see him reach his hand out. And his hand starts to burn. but
I
he
think there's, like, a
doesn't
second she
stop.
pulls him away.
He keeps his hand above the sigils until they can reach them, and you see claws stretch out, and he rakes them across. And you feel whatever was there break.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
And I run it in. No questions. Like, barest hint of a head shake, we're going.
Yeah. Clara absolutely like leaps into your arms.
Oh, scooped. Fully scooped.
And is just holding on to you and insisting. I tried to be brave. I didn't let them know. I did what
No,
you said.
just fully fully scooped, like you scoop a little kid, just like, I know, you did great. You did excellent, Clara. We're gonna get you out of here. Did they take anything from you? Like little trinkets, bits of hair, anything that they've taken from you?
Clara nods.
Right, right. Okay. Okay. We will have to be careful in ways that I'm not certain of, but we'll get there. Do you know where they went?
At that moment, Elise, that you hear footsteps approaching
Shit. From where?
from the door.
Just looks at Julius. Is there another way out?
Julius shakes his head. And Isaac Connolly walks into the room.
Elise takes the hatchet that she'd been carrying and gives it to Clara.
What am
Stay
I
behind me.
supposed to, what am I supposed to do with this? Elise, what am I supposed to do with this?
Hey, hey, hey. Whatever you need to. But we won't let it get to that. Right, Isaac?
Isaac looks sick. His face is white, his eyes are sunken in. There are deep circles, and he actually has his arms wrapped around himself as though he's trying to hold himself together. And he just stares at the three of you.
I think Elise sort of like reaches behind her, like has an arm around, like guiding Clara that way, and just starts walking towards the door. Like fully gonna walk past him. Are you coming with us?
Isaac smiles a little sadly. No, but I wouldn't go that way if I were you.
There's something we need to do to let you leave. This is your chance.
I think it's more important that we get her out of here than it is me. I can help. I
And we
don't
can trust
expect you
you.
to trust me. I wouldn't trust me if I were you, but I
She
can
just
give
looks at
you.
Julius.
And he says, I can give you a doorway out. And Julius walks around Isaac. And it's a little disconcerting to watch because there is definitely a point where he leans in and breathes deeply. And Isaac is just standing there absolutely rigid. And Julius then looks to you, Elise, and nods.
Where are we going?
Where would you feel safest?
Alice? I think there's a moment where especially if this is being asked in character, where she almost says, like, the estate, de Villiers estate. But there isn't a slew of guards at the estate. There isn't winding halls and catacombs at the estate. There isn't a sovereign that owes her at the estate.
And Isaac walks over to the wall and starts to draw. You, Elise, I hate to ask this, but I need you to roll to keep your cool because he is drawing with blood.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I can sure. Lots of rolling tonight, y'all. This is fun. This is a fun game we're playing. I can do math, I promise. 8.
You are still holding it together, barely, but I think the presence of your sister right behind you is what gives you what you need to hold on for just a bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And the doorway is completed in a shorter amount of time than you would have expected, though you can start to hear the sounds of fighting from the floors below. But you see the palace gardens right there.
Elise is just going to kneel in front of Clara. Just, hands at her shoulders. You're going to go through. You're going to find the stables. You're going to find a nice lady called Jo. She's got quite short hair. She's very sweet. And you're going to tell her who you are to me. And I will meet you there.
You're not coming with me?
I will be right behind you.
No.
My friends need you. My friends need me, and my friends need you to not be here.
I don't want to go there without you, Elise.
I know. I don't want to send you there without me. But I have to go keep my fiancé from making stupid decisions so that you get to meet him someday.
You're engaged? Elise, you didn't tell me you were engaged.
There's the recent development. There didn't seem a good time.
You have a fiance?
Yeah,
And
we
Julius is
will
just
talk
like,
about...
can we go? Can we please?
No, we need to... Sweetheart. We will talk about it over tea, and he will be there. If I can keep him alive for a moment, we will all have tea together at the palace.
And Clara clearly wants to argue, but honestly, at that point, Julius is also ushering her towards the doorway. And she steps through. Isaac looks to you, though, and says, I can't keep this open.
Are you going to use it yourself?
And several things happen in rapid succession because Isaac shakes his head, says, I can't. And Julius says, I know, and tackles Isaac through the portal, which closes behind the two of them.
Oh, shit. That was my ride. Okay, time to go fight some werewolves.
And
Just
so
the
Elise,
one werewolf. Just the
Well,
one.
Hopefully just the one. We'll see where the night takes
It's
us.
just another date
apparently.
night for Elise and Fitz, really.
You know?
And so we, of course, have one more surprise for tonight because many things are happening at once. Horatia de Villiers has leapt in wolf form, landed in the middle of that main hallway, and is facing Fitz and Rhiannon. And the two of you are prepared and ready to act when, Rhiannon, you feel that necklace start to heat up. Almost as though it's getting tighter and warmer against your skin.
Rhiannon, does she recognize, based on what it's doing, what this could be?
No.
No?
You have never experienced anything like this before. But you hear Carmen scream your name.
I think just hearing that, seeing the situation, not knowing what the other situation is, Rhiannon's just going to drop to the floor and start doing the sigils to open the door. Because she's not... They need to get back! Everyone's getting back!
And Rhiannon, you are in the middle of that. You are trying desperately to create a door, but the threat is right there. The danger is right there, and something horrible, you don't know what, is happening to Carmen in this moment. And I think just instinctively, there's a moment where you reach up and you grasp that pendant. It's involuntary. It might be to stop it from getting tighter. It might be because you just want to feel that connection. And the room turns upside down.
Can I try to lash myself to the floor to buy just a few more seconds?
You cannot. This
Can I
is the
take
bad.
harm?
This is the bad thing that Will bought with his points.
Will?
You are not able to complete the spell before you are spinning around and around and around, and you find yourself, you're not quite sure where, because you're not out of this liminal space, but you see Carmen kneeling, a silver collar around his neck, in a circle that has sigils you have not seen before. And he is just looking at you pleadingly. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
Where was the good thing, JD? Where was the good thing?
The good thing was the deal with your beloved equine-shaped friend who then talked, obviously.
Douglas was the good thing.
Maybe there will be another good thing that happens. Also, Isaac not being an enemy and helping you out. There were good things. I gave you good things.
Oh, man.
We had a good time tonight, right?
Rhiannon's complex is getting even worse. She just keeps taking it.
I'm about to join you in that complex real quick, Bestie.
Bestie's in the fucking lost pool. I don't even know words.
Girly pops in the Elbin.
We're all in the... Well, I mean, Fitz might not be. Fitz is gonna have a badass fucking fight.
I have a plan.
Gets out of the Elbin by lieu of not being a girly pop, I guess.
Can't wait to see the plan. Don't die.
It's a technicality, but you know.
I'm excited to see the plan. It's going to be a hell of a finale.
Now it really is a date night. Third wheel's gone.
It's true.
The X is gone. Technically.
I thought this was going to be how we bonded, Rhiannon.
I was trying. I mean, I got you here. I think I was doing pretty good.
We're doing great, sweetie.
Listen,
I'm sorry our ride left.
It's okay. I'm sorry I left because I was your extra ride.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll get out of hell.
Yeah. And we can bond over killing Fitz's family. That's how he bonds with most people.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it works.
Like, so how'd that go? Because I had visions of your death.
Listen. At the moment, I can say rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated because I'm not actually dead yet. So
Schrodinger's
It's true.
That's right.
Schrodinger's.
2 more weeks of that, then we'll know the outcome.
Also, there was a request for a Julius fact in the chat.
There is a Julius fact request. And I dropped so many spicy bits of lore tonight that I'm trying to think of a good fact to go along with that. I mean, one fact that you might have gathered is that Julius is a hellhound.
The goodest boy. Okay.
The goodest boy.
Okay, boy.
Listen, dog game knows dog game. What can I say?
Listen, Julius and I have beef, but we're working on it.
As for another Julius fact, I think the place where you are at is very personal to Julius, and he has a vested stake in the outcome.
Was this where he was like used as a tool that he referenced?
Might just have been.
Who can say?
Is this Carmen's demon's place? Hey JD.
Guess we're gonna have to find out.
I'm gonna bust down that office door. That's what I'm gonna do.
And I think with that, now that we have thrown out some Julius facts, had a good time, had a talking horse, Kit, you're up first for some outros.
Oh, great. Awesome. It's been fun, y'all. Wow. How do I even do an intro anymore? Or an outro? Or where are we at? Have we played yet? It was a blur. So much is happening all of the time. Constantly. Hi, guys. I'm Kit. You can find me most places on the internet at KitRoll or on Twitter while supplies last at KitRollCause because somebody stole the name and I can't be bothered to fight it. Where else even am I in this world? You can find me every other Friday right here while supplies last, for the second season of Secrets and Shadows, and get in the comments if you want season 3 so that we can bully JD early. See, every other Saturday, over on the Lost Caravan, you can find me with Fatal Ascension, our Fabula Ultima campaign, where I am just, yet again, a little guy. Everybody's favorite automaton. We're on the run from several countries for regicide that we didn't do, and some more crimes that maybe we did. Every other Wednesday, you can catch Beacons of Farlight over on High Shelf Collective. It is a new post-apocalyptic-ish campaign using the Beacon system. A little elemental shapeshifter, because that's cool and fun and gender. And everything's awesome and nothing is going wrong in that game. Don't even worry about it. But live games aside, if you like magical girls, queer narratives, and stories of hope amongst defeat, you can catch Bloom and Blight, our Girl by Moonlight actual play podcast, wherever you get your podcast. If it's not there and you want it to be there, let me know. I will put it there. That's a threat. For episode announcements, clips, stuff like that, goofs on occasion, you can find us on basically all of the socials, I think, at Bloom and Blight, all spelled out. And then for cast and character information, transcripts of all of our episodes, and etc., go to bloomandblight.com. I think that's all I'm allowed to talk about. But peep the socials, and I will drop more as I am legally allowed.
That is 100% completely fair. Steph, you are up next. We had a good time tonight. You're not going to make me sleep on the couch, are you?
My brain's not working. I don't know how I'm going to make through 2 weeks for this. Because I got
I was going to
Monday.
say, you don't have to.
I don't.
Back on Monday.
Except for my other friends. So, hi, I'm Steph. I've been Rhiannon. She had sort of win and is still taking the L's. Still dark as self. We'll see how things go for her. You can find me as Brown Writes on Blue Sky Social and the Dumpster Fire. You can also find me under the handle Lavenza on Discord. You can catch me Monday on a special episode, Season of Secrets and Shadows, mixing up the tables to find out what's going on with her and Carmen and someone else who's a friend. Nothing to worry about. So many handholdings. And then I'll be back in 2 weeks for the final episode of Table 2. Yes, we're Table 2. Season of Secrets and Shadows until whenever we bully JD into Season 3. You can also catch me next month in the next episode of the Academy H spin-off series, Horizons and Halcyons, where I am playing Morel Dunbar, just a little fungus girl doing her best. And also you can catch me every Thursday in Redacted, where I'm playing Kai, a drowned rat, and maybe some others.
I thought you were calling Kai a drowned rat, and I was like,
no,
that's really mean to him.
Rebecca's a drowned rat. Kai has done nothing wrong ever in his life.
I murdered a man, but we'll get
Kai
back to that.
didn't murder a man. He just didn't help a man. That's not murder. That's minding his business.
There's so many things I could say, but instead I'm going to turn it over to Alex, who I was delighted to be back at a table with because I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
It's been so long, JD.
And I missed you.
I have missed you as well. I have missed all the humans here. But to single JD out, I have missed you. It has been a while. Hi, I'm Alex. I identified as a problem this evening. Or more accurately, my dice did. But Fitz is a bit of a problem tonight. So I'm sorry for that, but I'm not sorry. Mightiest Finn on Twitter and Mighty Finn on Blue Sky, and I'm inadvertently on a social media break from that. Like I can't. Yeah. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? I had a Kickstarter that funded recently, which is cool. So I'm working on writing that. So if you are interested in post-apocalyptic games, if you're interested in horror games, if you're interested in New England Gothic or saltwater Gothic, if you want to explore what it means to be a Puritan witch hunter and a pirate while fighting not deer, check out the Backwards games that we've got coming out, Backwoods and Back Channels. Those links are on my socials. I don't know if we might still be taking late pledges. If not, hit me up, and we will figure something out if you are interested. So I'm writing that. I am running Cold Iron when mental health allows. Did not allow that earlier this week, but I am hopeful that it will allow in 2 weeks' time. And if you have been following our Changeling the Lost game, I would just say that you could, in preparation, just listen to Roy Orbison's 1963 classic In Dreams, because that's where we're headed for our next episode. It's going to be fun. It's going to be different. There will be a story at the beginning, as there always is, about love. That's what I'm going to tease for this one. And also, for no reason, JD, I need to talk to you about your backstory.
I was so afraid you were going to say that. I was like, I'm just going to pretend that you're not. It's fine.
Oh no. That's where we're going. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a time. Yeah, that's really what I'm doing. Nothing else exciting. Catch me here in 2 weeks when I get killed by my sister. It'll be fun.
I love that you just put that out into the world. I probably wouldn't ever do anything like that. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
No,
you die and bring me back.
We're gonna talk.
Dorian died last season and he got better.
Some of us die and we get better. It's okay.
JD and I are gonna talk about the plan, and that's capitalized the plan trademark. It'll be fun.
I'm excited for that conversation. I think we're gonna have a good time when we return in 2 weeks to this table.
Brandon's having a mental breakdown.
And last but not least, I am JD. I do too many things. Many of them are on this channel. I can be found in, let's just list off the games at this point. Running this one, of course, where I added some specials in because I like to add more things and make my life harder, but also more magical. And that has been the outcome of last week's trip to Fairy and this upcoming's Exorcism episode. Going to be a good time. So I'm doing that for at least the rest of this year. Then I am either in class reunion or Cold Iron on Tuesdays. Either I'm playing a nice little agender ranger who is a horse girl, and we love to see it, or I'm playing Arcady, who is a normal, sweet little hiss. Totally normal characters on both counts. On Thursdays, I'm either running Redacted, our psychological horror game, or I am playing in Never Ember's Enigma, our sweet little heist game where we are just committing crimes, and I am a changeling rogue, and I like to cause problems on purpose, and we love to see it. I can also be found every Saturday with Exquisite Corpse Presents for Sister Cities, and I am a part of Academy H, our Masks Actual Play podcast, award-nominated podcast, that records every other Sunday. We have a number of episodes out. You can find them on your podcatcher of choice. Please listen. It is an incredible, beautiful game, and I am so grateful to be a part of it. What else am I doing? Oh, one last thing, and then I can stop. I believe I can stop. I will be with Bleak Season for his upcoming American Gods game, where I will be playing an avatar of Fenrir. And it is going to be a good time. That will be starting up on the 29th of this month and running for 3 episodes from now until mid-December. So I am very excited. American Gods is one of my favorite books, and I can finally announce it because he finally announced it. I've been sitting on that for a while. So those are the things that I have. We also, over with Live from the Apocalypse, I'll just put in a plug. I'll also drop socials. Follow us on socials. We love that. We are active on a number of places that you can see there. You can also join our Discord community. You might want to do that, especially now, because we are in the midst of casting for the 12 Games of Hasmus, our holiday event, which is happening next month. It's not actually 12 games. It's not actually 12 days. It is like an amorphous blob of so many games between the 11th and the 29th because we couldn't stop. So join us for that. It's going to be a good time. We have some wild, off-the-wall, bonkers pitches, and I cannot wait to see what the players at the table do with that. So hang out there. We also post cat pictures and pet pictures and memes and ramble about these games. So if you have an opinion, come to our Discord and we will chat with you about that opinion. You might even get character facts for free.
Join the Discord. Become Elise.
The Discord is where we are all Elise.
We are all Elise in this Discord.
Hey, JD, can we get Elise rolls for all of us? Every single
Yes.
one of us?
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Bless.
My legacy.
And
You
so
see the original Oops All Elise meme.
Oops, all Elise. Yep.
Oops, all Elise.
I actually don't. I
Commented
probably
normally,
do have control over that now that I think about it.
I wouldn't
gonna
ask
think
if
on
I
that.
didn't think you had that control.
Yes.
The other admins might have a problem, but it's fine.
Can I mysteriously not
They
have
don't
the
need to
Elise role?
know, JD. They don't need to know.
They'll just be like, "Hey, what's this weird thing happening?" And I'll be like, "Oh no."
I don't know. Watch Season of Secrets and Shadows and find out.
Everybody's Elise. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
Also,
Except for me. I won't be Elise. I will be the only non-Elise.
We have always been the Elise. This is, you know?
What if Elise was one of
Just a slob like one of us? Trying to make their vampire way home?
A group of gamers is an Elise.
And I think on that note, we are going to call it a night. I'm going to take us to the thanks for watching screen. And I am thinking that I'm going to bring us over to visit Lost Caravan. Because we know and love them, and a number of us are also found over there. So gonna pop over there, say hi, be friendly, all of those things, and we with Live from the Apocalypse will be back for Veil Breakers, our D&D 5e homebrew game this Sunday, and then of course back for a special season of Secrets and Shadows on Monday. So for right now, say goodnight, cast.
Night,
Good night,
Elise.
Elise.
Good night, Elise.